Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our final game of the day. My name hi-rez Bart. That's hi-rez Dry Bear. This is a Saturday. It's North American time, and it's the Fat Chunks versus Snipe.
He's exactly right. It is Fat Chunks versus Snipe coming up next, and we're going to be right on time here. The last matchup of the day, the North American Pro League part of the day, is going to be coming to an explosive finish here. Coming off the victory of Team Dignitas yesterday, Fat Chunks will now be going against Snipe. Snipe had lost a very depressing match up against the boys of Thirst, considering the fact that they were ahead the whole game until Thirst decided, hey, we're going to win every single team fight. So the thing for me is wondering what's going to happen here for Snipe, because they have to start winning these team fights and focus on their mid-game transitions, whereas Thirst is looking pretty strong in that. I'm sorry, Chunks is looking pretty strong in that.
Chunks have looked very good so far, especially coming off that win against Dignitas. Got a lot of momentum coming into this game. Quick fantasy update. Turns out there's 19 players tied for first place.
Wow.
You want to know why there's 19 players tied for first place? Because the top score that you could possibly have in fantasy right now is if you drafted all of Cognitive Red onto your team.
Well, there you go. Cognitive Red is the way to go, except it's going to be 7 weeks straight. So we'll see what happens going into next week. But Cog Red is the team to look at. And after last game, I mean, they basically extensively banned the jungle role, and it still worked out for them. So they're looking very robust. But, you know, honestly, coming into this one, we're going to see, you know, Snipe get their chance to show who they are, right? We're looking at across the way. Unique injected into Fat Chunks made the biggest difference.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Was very, very potent in that first game that he played in, doing a bit better than his counterpart in that role before in Rushed. Let's go ahead and pop into the picks and bans as we are already underway.
Well, the first ban going to come out here on the left side. Snipe with first pick, first ban. They're going to be banning out Circuit this time around, is it because eventually get up on there. But the result ban on the other side here for Snipe is a big question for us. And so we're kind of looking at this, and we're waiting to see how this works. I mean, the biggest bans are going to be the hyper carries, you know, Mercury, Habois. We occasionally, of course, see some mages in the first area, but Circuit is probably the most consistent ban we've seen throughout all the matches.
Yeah, Circuit's been a very, very popular ban, and we did see her be very effective when picked. Mercury ban on the other side for Snipe. There is one more ban coming up for the Chunks, and it is going to be Noir taken out there. No one wants to deal with that global ultimate. Such a strong solo laner if you can get off to a good start there, or mid laner for that matter. Over on the side of Snipe, final ban remaining here. My guess, Zhonghui.
Zhonghui possibly, but they're definitely going to do some kind of single target focusing. Fenrir is also a consideration. Chunks, Roar playing Fenrir, a big pickup. So there's Loki banned away for Snipe. Now first pick goes to Fat Chunks. You're looking at Snipe right now, and they definitely do like some Freya action. So stealing away the Freya from Snipe and putting the side of the Chunks.
Okay, so that leaves Chunks with Freya. Snipe going to return with a Ra and a Zhonghui as their picks. Here, interesting stuff. So sustain being picked up by Snipe, and some defense as well, along with their damage. Big fat boys over there for Snipe. The Chunks going with the lean and mean Freya into an Uller and Alguang pick, actually. So two very different mindsets here from the teams.
They're taking Ra away from Hurlwind, who's, you know, notably his best character.
Aww.
You're taking Zhonghui away from Cyclone Spin, which is notably his best character. So that was just more. It was more of a, these characters are good and we want them, but it's also we don't want Cyclone Spin and Hurlwind to have their best characters. So that was a great double pick from Snipe. Across the way, they're going to Alguang and Ull. Ull, a fantastic pickup there for Samshrew. As we know, he can play almost any hunter. He played frickin' Cupid yesterday. So, I mean, what else is he going to play today? Ull is a good choice. Across the way, they make a jungle selection, but that leaves both Guardians available to be banned.
Yeah, it's straightforward, right? If you pick the Zhonghui and Nemesis is available, you either pick her or you ban her because she's just very effective against him. He does stare at his protection. We've gone through this a bunch. Snipe, so far, though, what you're looking at here, their team, they have outdrafted Chunks in the first 2 picks, I want to say here. Ra, Zhonghui together, both able to go Warlock Sash, both able to go Pen or Cooldown Boots, and both able to go into a defensive item like an Urchins or a Magic very easily without sacrificing too much in their build. Plus a Nemesis, similar style, very resilient, also high damaging. Their team fight's going to be immense. They're going to go ahead and ban out the Chalk here, high sustain base. Basically, he fits into their lineup really, really well, but they already have that role covered, so they might as well keep it away from Chunk and remove their ability to go toe-to-toe with them. On the other side, Chunk going to get rid of Geb, which does, of course, leave the Athena open for Snipe. Notably, however, as well, Aphrodite is available.
Still available there. We don't see Snipe playing it all that often, but certainly can be selected here. We know Cyclone Spin actually does like Chocolate as well. Chocolate. So Jungquay is going to be taken away from Cyclone Spin, then Chalk taken away from Cyclone Spin. They got Rod taken away from Heroine. So it seems like Snipe is kind of playing into the palms of Fat Chunks. They're going to make one selection here, and it looks like it's going to be a Hunter. It's going to be that Apollo selected here for that allied, and we'll see across the way. Athena still available, and so since Snipe didn't take it, they prefer Apollo over Athena. Athena looks like that she's going to be locked in here for Fat Chunks. The question is, what will their solo be, or is Athena going to be jungler and they're going to pick Fenrir?
You know, I wish we saw Fenrir Cupid again. That was so awesome here. But the Chunks, take a look at a Giannis.
Why not? After last game, absolute and dominant performance. Okay. The high mobility you get on your team, you can move around the map very effectively, almost unstoppable. And of course, the mid and late game damage scaling makes Giannis such a notable force in the world of Smite. Across the way, the last selection will be Buakis, and they're going to lock out both team lows.
If you are just joining us, guys, we are live here, just moments away from getting into the game with the Fat Chunks versus Snipe. This is our final game here today from the North American Pro League. And shout-outs to Twitch chat if you are there, and your wonderful, wonderful sense of humor. They called that the chalk block when you ban chalk in the third.
The chalk block? Is that what it is?
They got chalk blocked.
That's pretty clever. I like that.
I like it, too.
That is pretty
Shout-outs to you. You the real MVP here, Twitch chat.
You the real MVP. So look at the lineup here. We see the lineup, Jungquay and Ra for the solo and mid lane. Looks like the mid lane is going to be the Ra, played by Jerby. And of course, solo will take Jungquay for Kiki or Na. And of course, we're going to have Apollo and Bacchus together in the long lane and Nemesis in the jungle. Across the way, a very damaging lineup here for Chunks, but not as stable as you'd see on the side of Snipe. You've got Ull lining up with Athena in the long lane. You've got Giannis in the solo lane. And then Algong in the mid lane plus
a very cognitive red style of lineup that Chunks have put together here.
It is.
And we saw already what happens when Algong and Giannis are on the same team. The zone out potential is amazing. Now, will Chunks be able to execute like we saw coming out of red? Granted, they will be on opposite sides of the map, but can they aggress that orange buff and control the enemy jungle as effectively as Cog-Red with this zone out burst style of team?
Now, why does Aurora want to play a Guardian?
I don't know. I guess he's feeling a little teppish today.
I guess so. He's being, dipping into the very wild world
of
the
bottom
Guardians.
Of the barrel there.
That's weird.
With conventional picks. Who is this guy?
I guess I'll play Athena. Oh,
yeah.
Golly. What a weird day this is for Aurora. So he's been playing Athena. And that's one of the greatest things about playing, mid-level characters, that if you don't go with them or you get banned out or shut down in some way, you can just go up the tier list instead of going down. That's the greatest thing about being very good at mid-level characters. And so Rose's been playing Athena this time around, and he plays Fenrir very well in the way that Fenrir is highly mobile, but now he's going to have an Athena ultimate. He's going to have an interruption with the taunt. Very, very good. So the dash, everything involving there, it's going to be great for Aurora to involve himself in those fights with that Athena. Now, this game, I'm looking to see if we can take off with Nemesis and if Apollo can actually beat the Samshrew Roar long lane, because you need Ally to take off as well.
Well, the danger here is going to be that the only physical damage coming out on the side of the Chunks is Uller. So with just him, Samshrew's going to have to really, really perform here in this game to keep the Chunks in it in terms of damage distribution. Now, on the side of Snipe, a more balanced team with the Nemesis and the Apollo both putting out reasonable amounts of physical damage. The Zhonghui and the Ra putting out the magical damage, but they will be a little bit burst efficient compared to the Chunks unless they itemize specifically against magical damage early on. It's going to be an interesting game, and keep an eye on the items here. I don't expect to see standard builds across the board necessarily, although the Warlock Sash is coming out for Zhonghui and Ra seem pretty much a shoo-in at this point.
Well, Chunk sitting at 1-1, Snipe sitting at 0-1. So, of course, if Snipe loses this match, they'd be 0-2 for the score going forward into the SPL. They will be playing tomorrow against Team Dignitas. So, I've got another. Dick has played 4 matches in the first week. 3 of those they've lost. So tomorrow going into that, if Snipe can get a win here and they get a win tomorrow, they've skyrocketed themselves above onto the charts. But Chunks is looking to do the exact same. Currently Chunks is sitting in tied for 3rd right now with Thirst at 1-1, and they keep getting better every day.
Yeah, and only the boys of red sitting on top now at that illustrious 3-0 position. But let's go ahead and move into the game here and introduce your teams. It's the Chunks versus Snipe.
Yes.
And we are getting underway right now.
Well, introducing the teams, bringing into the match, we're going to see Fat Chunks on your screens. Who's playing what, where they are going. Look at the boys of Fat Chunk. We got Cyclone Spin in the solo lane. He is going to be playing that Giannis. We've got Herwin in the mid lane, and he's going to be playing a very strong Aurora, the Guardian player, if you want to call it that. He's going to be playing Athena this time around. Of course, Sam Shu or Na is going to be playing Uld. He's played a different hunter every single day, and he's continuing that on today. And the next, well, of course, is going to be Unique standing in for Rush permanently for now, as we do see him playing jungle. And he's going to be on Freya.
Their opponents today are Snipe, fighting on the red side of the map, the top side, the right side of your spectator UI. And here they are. You have Kiki or Na in the solo lane, playing on Junkwei. Jerby will be your mid laner as Ra, and Continentia and Allied combining for the duo lane of Bacchus and Apollo, respectively. And Continentia is your captain. And finally, it's going to be Weekend in the jungle as Nemesis.
Pushing forward here, a minute left on the timer before we cross over into positive time. We're in negative space right now, and the mid lane will be cleared out. Giannis will be heading home after doing nothing. It looks like he didn't buy consumables at all. Oh, a lot of wards. 4 wards placed down right now. 4 Fat Chunks all over the map. They got plenty of coverage here. They start pushing it through. Now to be going towards the other side of the map, looking for a big pickup. 4 members just standing tall. Allied is on the opposite side here.
6 wards.
Oh boy.
6 wards, no, 7 wards in this early game. Last game, 3.
All Mo. They want Mo wards. Covered it up. But we do actually not see that defensive ward placed down behind the movement speed buff on the side of Chaos. So he has words. I'm curious, Bart, because this is becoming a very, very powerful trend that no one has had a good response to. Will Snipe steal the movement speed buff?
I hope so. It's always fun to watch it happen. You know, it's funny because not that long ago in the world of Smite, with very little changes made to the actual map, players were talking about that invades were just too risky. Not enough reward for the risk, but I think as the game has matured, people have realized just how damn potent the, well, I guess the orange buff is, and that when you are behind, that, well, you end up with this inability to beat the enemy jungler to anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point, right? And that's why I'm really curious to see what the statistics are for Chaos versus Order, right? Which side has the better stats. And you see, actually, Cyclone's been teleporting over to the right side, just getting in the wave as fast as he possibly can and pushing Weekend and Kiki are not into the corner here, and they're doing it quite effectively. Left side, very heavy aggression coming out on Allied and forcing him back. One of the biggest weaknesses so far is that, you know, Allied is an incredible hunter player, but it seems like he's too easily put into a downward spiral where he doesn't get enough gold. I mean, it seems like his main weak stat is the ability to gain gold.
Yeah, he does seem to have some issues farming, and who knows? Is it God selection? Is it Incontinentia's fault? Is it? It's definitely the captain's fault. No, you know, is it Allied? The style that he plays? Is it maybe that he rushes into Heartseekers early and goes back? You know, those types of things.
Well, they're pulling it down now. You see a little push on the left side. Samshu taking some damage here. Mid lane, Herwin is pushed back, but he's hit that very crucial level 3 that Outgoing needs to have a level 2 tornado.
Good old level 2 tornado. Clear those waves, but it's not like Ra has to work hard for his wave clear either, so it's going to be the old stall out in the mid lane here for the boys.
Well, they're pushing it down here, and it looks like they're regrouping up towards the damage buff on the side of Fat Chunk Assemble. The Fat Chunks are assembling on their damage buff to give it to the mighty Ao Guang to hold on. We got this clearing out here, and now we're going to be moving over to the mid lane to see if Nemesis, played by Weekend, can make a difference here. We do have the Hog 2 on him, whereas Unique decided to go for the Hog 1 plus Boots 1 plus consumables instead. We'll see which one makes the biggest difference. Of course, the difference there, of course, would be Hog 2 has a shorter cooldown by 30 seconds, which is pretty huge, but it doesn't seem to be making that much of a difference early on.
Yeah, Hog 2, you know, if you're not getting those early invades, it's not tremendously powerful, but let's hold on to that thought as there's the 4-man rotation from Snipe. Even though they don't have the lineup that we were saying is particularly strong at this, it's damn good. And, oh, the Freya banish maybe enough. Unique, can you get it? No, not able to snipe it out. Weekend picking up the orange buff, but Herwin with a nice position on these players. Will throw down the tornadoes, not hitting anybody, however. Aurora taking a lot of damage from Allied, but oh, the snipe! The snipe! Oh! Jerby!
Wow!
Jerby.
That is not the Algo ultimates we used to see in the closed beta of Smite from Jerby.
So throw your no ults in the chat there, boys.
That's
if you
right.
Support Jerby.
That is it. Jerby taking that down. So first blood for Snipe going to Jerby, which of course it's always great to get a good lead for Ra. He scales so incredibly well once he has his built-in utility scaling off his massive damage numbers, and we'll see what he decides to build into. Could be even a rush for a Warlock Sash. Always works great on a character like the Ra. Left alone in left lane is Sam Shrew or Nah, and he's hoping that his friendly Aurora comes back to save him. He's got the movement speed buff, was actually picked up here, or was it stolen?
Nah.
It was stolen.
I'm electing for nah.
Well, it's not on Jerb.
My
It's not
choice
on
was
Unique.
Kiki or nah, and I'm choosing nah.
No.
I'm just choosing nah.
Nah.
No thanks. No,
Nah.
no Kiki for me.
Nah. Gotta go in here. The mid camp on the left side will go to Snipe. The right camp will go to Fat Chunka. Sambo. Nemesis looking right here on top of Whirlwind, and he's hurrowing his way away from the danger there in the mid lane as Derby decides to back off and clear the way. We got the left lane. It's going to be a 2 versus 1 against Allied, but I'm not sure why Samshu and Aurora are not just diving on Allied and forcing him to ult or dash away here, since Incontinentia was far away.
So far away. Remember that bad song? Uh-oh. Weekend? Weekend, are you going to backstab Unique here? No. He is not. Well, maybe he is. Maybe he's not. Floating around. Now going to take his look over on the right side. But a lot of... Oh, hold that thought. Left side lane. Aurora will go down. Incontinentia getting credit for that kill, but Allied doing the majority of the damage. Now right side. It's Cyclone's been in a bit of trouble. Slow coming out. Double slow now. Do they have the damage? Shield activated. Cyclone's going to make it through the wall. One more ghost. 2 more ghosts going to follow him. It's going to stop his recall and be pesky, but not going to be enough to get the kill.
Oh, ghosts, how pesky you can be. Power of John Quaid right there, able to kind of just poop out a bunch of ghosts and hope they chase down their targets and take them out. The homing, heat-seeking missile of death from the afterlife. Mid lane, we see Derby kind of backpedaling here and clearing out the wave. Tornado is down and used, but the wave did not stack up properly, so unfortunately enough, the tornado from Whirlwind will not be able to clear it out. Blue off the left side will be soloed by Incontinentia, very slowly, of course, with that goat stick just swinging through the air. He's going to leave it for the golden experience there for Allied. He's going to take that one down. So currently right now, we're going to see a 1,600 gold lead for Snipe, 2,300 experience lead for Snipe. However, this is the exact same setup we saw up against Thirst. Snipe gets ahead by about 3,000 gold, it gets to mid-game, and then Thirst started winning every single team fight, and they lost the match.
Thirst so thirsty. Well, our build's coming out here early on. Nothing unconventional as of yet. Like we said, expecting to see the Warlock Sash being started here for Kiki and Jerby fairly soon on the side of Snipe. Cyclone's been continuing to stack up damage, going for that Divios build with the sprint number 2 under his belt as well, in addition to his boots. Just trying to get to those walls if he has to. I think a lot of players have been taking a look at Divios' play and trying to find ways to emulate it themselves.
Emulating it, and they're doing it successfully so far. We'll see how it scales into the mid stage of the game. Right now, look at the itemization. We see boots are mostly done for everyone in the match. We do see on the left side, Samshu has finished off his Devourer's Gauntlets, and so has Allied. They're pretty much matched up here. Not going to see the Transcendence pick up there for Samshu, as we do often see on the other side. A lot of times you'll see Transcendence picked up for players like Real, players like Youngbay, players like Smek as well, who really like to pick up that kind of Transcendence lined up there for a character like Ull, who does well with more mana. We do have Midas Boots complete for one of the Guardians on Incontinentia, but Aurora is lagging behind at 0 and 2.
Hey, every minute doesn't have them. More GPM going the way of Incontinentia to the point of 30 additional gold per... Wait, no. 5 gold every 5 seconds. Or GP5 increased by 5, so additional gold per second.
Well, right now we're holding on. We see Same Shrew clearing out the left side lane. A lot of clears. I mean, the movement speed is going to be respawning here. Looks like Snipe is trying to steal it away. We do have Weekend and Incontinentia in the area looking to jump on top of this clear. The life flop is going to be avoided there as they do leash it away. Now Dash Wing, the double taunt on top. Here's Tempest coming through. He's going to hit 2 of them. Tornado, they're going not going to land on top of Weekend, but Weekend is going to wait from this one. The heal from Raw, the double dash through the tornado. The hit from Herwin clears it out. Freya up in the air doing some massive damage coming down from above. And there goes the hit. The axe is not going to land, but it looks
Allied
like
in
they're
a tough spot, though. Will Aurora be able to CC him? Does he have another taunt available? Jasper forward like he does. He does indeed. Jeremy to fall. Allied in a lot of trouble as well. No dash available for about another 5 seconds. Slowed down. Forced to go around the portal. And there is Cyclone Spins. Unstable Vortex to clean it up. Now the Gold Fury aggroed, but falling back as Incon is still here and alive. But it is a 0-for-2 trade in favor of the Chunks.
The Chunks are chunking right now, and Snipe is falling a little bit less into the lead here. There's still about 1,000 gold up. There's 1,300 experience up as well. But Snipe really needs to hold on to their game to see if they're able to kind of keep this rolling. Mid-cap on the right side will go to Snipe. The left side will go to Snipe as well. So they're able to get about 180 gold out of that exchange. Right now, Derby is going to be starting up his Warlock Sash across the way. Herwin's going to go down the same exact road. Unique has elected to go for boots first and then into the Fatalis afterwards. I mean, Warlock Sash, I mean, why not? Bunch of damage, bunch of health, bunch of mana.
Sure, but let's go back to this orange buff evade. Love that response by Chunks, right? They let their orange buff go in the first time. The second time it comes back up, they know that Snipe, based on some nice warding around the Gold Fury, is rotating over that way. And they just collapsed on them and said, look, we're not going to let you bully us in our own jungle. And it's just smart stuff because it just dictates the pace of the game for them.
Sure, that's exactly what it's working towards. And you know, honestly, it seems like it's really awkward for an Order team to be able to get over that movement speed buff in time to defend it the first time around, just because it allows you more room to kind of move around the map, keep the solo lane and mid lane happy, steal away a couple heartbeats, and let the first one go away. Plus, you know, the Chaos side team will be looking to kind of do something with that. Knock on the left side looking for Samshu, interrupted with a taunt. Beautiful play by Aurora. The hit on Samshu is jumping away. He's got that glory bound, but how much glory can he have right now? Ultimate from Giannis, not going to land. There goes the concussion grenade from that Serenade on Apollo. Dashing forward, Chunks trying to get this, can't get it, won't get it, as Allied and Continentia back off entirely. The Gold Fury is available, though.
Yeah, Gold Fury is here, but yeah, I mean, I guess there's two players on the right side of the map making their way over here. Weekend and Kiki both out of position for this, but Chunk's not going to take this opportunity to go in as the pressure on mid lane is enough to pull them back. But now Kiki needs to be in trouble as he's being collapsed upon. Nemesis will be coming on a Unique, and he is melting, but here comes the Spirit Tempest hitting to 500 damage apiece, leaping it over the top. It's in Continentia with the Intoxicate. Aurora in some trouble, but Heroin is able to pick up Kiki with the Wind Virus. Down he will go. Dashing away now, Cyclone Spin. Jerby going to try to chase him down. Is there an ult available? There is. What are you going to do, Jerbs? There's a Celestial Beam over the wall. It's not going to be good. He does have the ultimate available. Jerby going to go for it. Oh, going to miss. Cyclone Spin going to die to the tower there and deny himself.
Scumbag Invader Tower taking the kill away from the Jerbs. Such a mighty foe to go up against when you're looking for a kill here. Allied didn't take out the blue buff in the aftermath of his teammate's death, or his teammate's loss of kill, I should say, as the death did go on Cyclone Spin. But it was a good engagement overall. I think it kind of leveled out, right? The golden experience is exactly the same. You know, it was a back and forth. It could have been a lot bigger of a gain if Jerby was able to secure that kill, and maybe even just getting close enough to basic attack him. He had nowhere else to go at that point, so maybe he's just worried about him portaling away. But you know, able to get the secure on that kill. Mid camp on the left side will be responding shortly. The damage buff for Chaos side of Snipe is back up and ready to go, so whenever we do see Weekend heading over there to take it down, looks like Weekend is occupying himself with pushing the solo lane, trying to help in the absence of Cyclone Spin and make sure that Kiki or Na is less on the Na and more on the Ya side.
Wow. That was really something.
Thank you for the awkward pause.
That was really
awful
joke. Well done, sir.
Awkward pause after the bad joke makes it even worse.
Right side, mid camp is going to go the way of Snipe. They took the left one as well. So continuing to edge forward 180 gold at a time. Overall, the game is Snipes by a bit here. 1,300 gold and 2,000 experience. Not pulling out by much, but just enough to call it a lead.
The lead is kind of acting up here a little bit, waiting for someone to kind of take a stronger lead than we see now. I mean, of course, the Gold Fury is still available. We're kind of seeing more of what we saw the last two EU matches. It's just very careful planning and not really going for the Gold Fury unless it's a sure win, just because they don't want to worry about it being counter-initiated on, losing the Gold Fury, and all of a sudden you lose another 3,000 gold on top of that. So it's better just to kind of win out in the early game just by controlling the pace of the game and stealing buffs away and kind of getting the proper lane farm, and then getting a secured Gold Fury.
Yeah, you know, we've seen a lot of teams throw games early on here at the goal. Well, throw maybe a harsh word to use, but, you know, make mistakes in timing at the Gold Fury, try to sneak it in and get blown up, or have it stolen away simply and resulting in a lot of kills. You know, it's just it's so easy to contest that Gold Fury, the positioning, easy to come across here. Counter wards are out from Incontinentia. He's actually the counter ward. 2 wards just placed by the Chunks, so their vision decreased significantly here around that Gold Fury.
Around the Gold Fury, indeed. We see a little bit of an inclination towards gank on the left side. Oh, there's a Serenade. There goes Initiation. Looking for the ultimate. Nemesis going to find it very, very slow here. There goes a few more shots from Allied. Should be able to get it. There goes the hit. One slash from Weekend. Looking for Aurora as well. Belcher God's looking at the sun, but here comes the ultimate hitting Allied. Now looking for the follow-up here onto Unique. Can't get the single target. The splash from the pulse is cleared out. Up in the air, Allied goes looking for a tactical strike from above. Looking for possibly on top of Herwin. Going to find it. Forcing him back to his tower. Portal on the ground coming out from the one and only Cyclone Spin. But looks like that's going to be the end of it.
Kiki is positioned here, waiting to walk into tower range on the right side. Try to aggress that tier 1. Let's hold that thought as the fight does break out. Unique in a lot of trouble taken to the air. Here comes the Spirit Tempest ripping through. Not going to fight anybody just yet. Allied will get a kill, as will Jerby. 2 to fall. No tank available. This should be an easy Gold Fury for the boys of Snipe, and they'll get the split push on the right side. They won that fight 4v5.
Jerby's pretty low here. Cyclone Spin doesn't have an ultimate, but he does have an disabled Vortex. The Gold Fury is going to be taken down. Great zoning by Weekend here. He's going to take a little bit of damage. It's not the most favorable matchup for him, but he's just basically keeping Cyclone Spin off the Gold Fury long enough for Snipe to be able to secure it, and they do indeed get it. Now Snipe, as they previously were about 1,000 gold ahead for what's looking like about 6 minutes, now they're 4,700 gold ahead. Now they're 6,600 experience in the lead. And this is the problem they faced against Thirst earlier this week, is that they were able to get the early game easily, but then they couldn't win the team fights. And now they got the early game and also are winning the team fights. Snipe is looking strong.
I think so, yeah. I think that Snipe, with this lineup that they have here, granted they don't scale as aggressively into the late game with the Freya, Giannis, Uller over on the side of Chunks. Snipe with mostly Allied and Weekend putting out most of their damage. Jerby and Kiki combining for, really one late game burster between the two of them, but a lot of sustain and sustained damage between them. I think that they have a pretty solid chance here now with the advantage that they built. They're in the kind of that money spot, 4,000 to 5,000 gold. About 15 minutes in is where you want to be if you have the team that needs to win a bit earlier, I feel like. And Snipe has the momentum right now as well. A Fire Giant buff, if they're able to find one and secure for themselves on the back of a pick, will break this game wide open and basically put it squarely in their hands. But they have to find a way to convert that, or at least push through another couple towers and get some of that guaranteed gold off of the board.
Well, we see Nemesis rotating over from the right side of the map. The tier 1 in the solo lane for Fat Chunks. He's already down for the count. They're still with the blue buff here. Don't know if Cyclone Spin can steal this. The Hog will secure it, and Kiki picks it up. Rotation coming out from Fat Chunks, but a little too late for that one. Aurora and Hurricane are just going to be here trying to push up the lane possibly. But in the meantime, the mid tower is taking a lot of damage in the absence of Hurricane. A big rotation coming out from Snipe as well. Jerby going to look for a slow here on Aurora. Not going to be able to find it. Of course, they're scattering properly here. Good position. The Fire Giant's available in 2 players for Snipe on the left side of the map, and the only player for, 2 players for Fat Chunks on the left side of the map, and the only player for Snipe that's over there can fly, so that's kind of a good position to be in.
Yeah, we'll see. Snipe might be able to brute force down this mid tower, but there's a lot of chunks here floating around by this red buff.
Gross.
Not going to be able to push their way in, it looks like, for now, but Nemesis is going to get a pretty decent angle here onto Samshire. He was spotted out by a ward earlier in this rotation, but is the recall bait going to be enough? It will not. Not taking it. Not having it this Samshire. He says, nah.
Samshire right now is 1-1 and 1, kind of holding on to a good spread of kills, deaths, and assists. But the gold is really the biggest story here. You see Samshire at 6,300 across the way, Allies at 7,500, so it's going to be a 1,200 gold deficit between Hunters in favor of Snipe, and it's a rough situation to be in. Now, granted, he has already gained 400 gold from the Gold Fury combined with the right side tower going down. Of course, 100 per person for the tower and 300 per person for the Gold Fury. So, 400 of that is just going to be objectives, but then 800 of the difference is going to be just
straightforward.
Allied just outplaying Samshire.
Kiki does have the Ethereal Staff online, so it was wrong about that Warlock Staff going for the earlier HP and mana, rather the additional damage later on once he does get it stacked up. So going to be resilient now, which indicates to me the Snipe is looking to fight.
They're looking to fight indeed, and they really need to do it. I mean, honestly, they got the lead, right? They got the control of the map. They got the vision. They've got the gold and the experience to kind of come out ahead. And realistically, if they force a fight here and just get a single pick, it may turn into a Fire Giant or maybe the Gold Fury, depending on the time frame. The Gold Fury will be coming back up here in just about in a minute and a half or so. So just around 17 and a half minutes, you'll be able to see that Gold Fury respawning back up into the world of the living for as long as it lives. But Kiki's going to pick up Ethereal Staff for extra HP, and it seems like that's the trend for almost all mages. HP.
Yeah, HP, I mean, it's just, the burst is so prevalent in the meta right now. I mean, that's the flavor of the month is pick these high burst gods or go for a full-on sustained comp with hyper carries. And given really both of those strategies, having high HP values makes a lot of sense.
Mid tower is on its last leg. Frailty is what we're seeing from buildings nowadays. Uknik is trying to come through the mid lane and try to force a fight here, but of course with 4 massive Snipe players coming through here, the chunks are not going to be assembled in time to defend it. Left side looking for a gank here on Allied. Can't get the banish in time. Looking for a stun, not going to be able to find it. Damage coming out. The single target burst should be enough. Allied gets up. No! The helicopter crashes to the ground. And we do see a kill for the chunks. That's the power of having Freya when when Apollo's an enemy team.
Yeah, that's you can never count out an Apollo, though. Split push potential later on in this game continues to grow, but Allied is falling behind Samshrew here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, scratch that. He's still significantly ahead of Samshrew is what I was trying to say there. Samshrew still has a lot of work to do. 1,000 gold going the way of Allied. It's an important kill to help get them back into the game, but maybe the biggest deficiency here, Aurora only level 11 and Continental sitting at 13, and that makes a big difference in the Guardian world. The extra HP, the extra flat damage, probably most importantly, from your abilities, and getting those additional levels is just so important.
Levels certainly don't get the credit that they deserve for how much they can influence the early stage of the game. I mean, if you get 2-3 levels ahead of someone, that is almost effectively buying half an item ahead of them, just because the stats you get per level, HP, damage, protections, realistically everything increases. Plus, you also have lower cooldowns on your abilities, more scaling, more base damage, and just a lot of things going for you that really work very strongly. Aurora's going to go for a weakening curse here. It's going to slow down the heal from the Zhongkui as well as the Ra. Ra's going to be picking up it looks like a a Book of Thoth here at the later stage of the game. 18 minutes in, he's already got the Warlock Sash nearly stacked up, I would imagine, but it looks like there's going to be 3 Aegis Amulets picked up on the side of Snipe. They don't want to be hit by the Algorand ultimate, they don't want to be hit by the Unstable Vortex from Giannis, and they certainly don't want to be focused by Freya.
They would not like any of those things. Weekend has a decent angle here, though, on the Samshrew. Nemesis going out. There's the leap, but it's going to be right into Weekend's willing hands, and he's taunted, but he should be able to dash forward and go ahead and pick up this kill onto Samshrew underneath the tower. No, going to be slowed down now and forced to fall back a little bit, and Continental coming out with the ultimate. Unique trying to close the distance. Here comes the ultimate from, well, the Giannis across the map, not doing enough damage to find a kill, and Ra going to start healing the team up underneath a shell to help mitigate some of that damage. Celestial Beams coming through as well. Allied's going to take to the sky here. He's looking for Unique in the back lines. Going to find it easy peasy, but fall into a portal. Well placed there. Spirit Step is coming out. Battle Race is in Continental. Aurora now to fall as well as Jerby finds some more damage. 4 members of Snipe still alive, fighting between the tier 1 and the tier 2. Here comes Cyclospin and Samshrew. It's enough damage to pick up 1 onto Allied. Dashing forward is Weekend. Samshrew wants to pursue, and so does Cyclospin. Does he have another portal available to close distance?
He's looking for the Gold Fury is available, but it's a 3 versus 3 aspect here. There's only 3 ultimates available in the game right now, and of course one of them is Ull, so that's kind of null and void. We do see Kiki Orna and Jerby hold on to their ultimate for the entire duration, but that was a great play by Snipe, and you can really see the effectiveness of healing there, right? Ra was able to put Solar Blessing down in time to keep things going.
Jerby getting caught out there by the stun of Giannis, or the portal rather, the I guess extended knock-up if you were, and but not enough follow-up there. I was actually looking for that Uller leap forward into Axon to try to secure that kill, but in the meantime, while they try to kill Jerby, Weekend with a cheeky play, wraps around and takes the orange buff.
Well, there was a cheeky or not this time around. They're going to take away that movement speed buff, and now we're going to see more push here. And I think realistically they didn't want to jump on Jerby there because they didn't really know where Kiki and Weekend were. And so if they jump on top of it, they're pretty much just guaranteeing Snipe another kill, which would then guarantee them a gold fury. But speaking of gold fury, they're starting up here on the side of Fat Chunks. Slow initiation from Snipe, or sorry, from Fat Chunks looking for the kill. Portal line in Continentia, still going slowly here. Reaction coming out from Snipe. They're looking for Unique. Spirit Step is going to come through. It's going to hit no one. Weekend still alive. Each time it gets popped a little bit prematurely there. Ultimate coming out from the Giannis, going to hit Weekend on the back end, but they're going to be forcing this fight forward, looking for Aurora, looking for Samshrew, jumps away. Jerby gets the purification beads on top, looking for the ultimate, possibly doesn't have it anymore. There goes the kid. Samshrew gets out of the fight, and looks like we have Al Guang and Herwin going on home. Turns back around, he does have a blue buff, so he should be getting enough mana back, but the gold fury goes down in the meantime. Snipe gets a kill and a gold fury, and Chunks goes home empty.
Yeah, and Snipe able to get now to the new normal in terms of gold. Take a look at the graph. They, you see it step down gradually. They did have an early advantage that then kind of went away, but now they got it down to about the 5,000 mark and stayed at 5,000. Take another gold fury, now a tower. It's going to be about 7,500, and we expect it to stay here. Given how Snipe is playing, they've gotten ahead and they continue to build it and doing a nice job.
Well, right now, 21 minutes in the match, 9-7 in favor of Snipe. They're currently sitting 7,400 gold in the lead, 11,000 experience as well. We do see rotation on the right side from 3 members on Snipe and get the damage buff, probably the blue buff, and then push up the whole wave. At this point, it's pretty much just pick up the pieces and hope you can find a way back into this match because, honestly, it's not, it's not all over for Fat Chunks. I mean, 7,000 gold is not insurmountable by any means, but at this point, they're missing all 3 of their Tier 1 towers. They've lost 2 gold furies so far, and they don't really have much going for them in their naming. Right now, Yuknik has just finally finished his core. Herwind is still hurrying his way over to that Book of Thoth, but he can't get there pretty quickly. Cyclone Spin now looking for a Chronos Pen, I would imagine, unless he's going to try to rush the Rod, but then he has no CDR to his name. Aurora has that finished Sovereignty, but across the way in Continentia already has both his actives finished and also a Silver Talisman ready to go on that part. Kiki or Not is still going down the road of durability. He's got that Ward Stone picked up because he got Ethereal Staff completed as well. So Kiki or Not plus his passive, the Demon Bag, is very, very much a hard target to take down.
Looking at Samshrew here, 8,800 gold farmed across the way allied, and overall Samshrew sitting in the top 5 or bottom 5, depending on how you want to look at it, least amount of gold farmed. So he has the 4th least gold farm of all players out of the Hunter role across all of SPL, North America, and Europe. And you can see here it's echoed across very, very loudly, right? 2-level advantage on Allied, plus a 1,500 gold lead as well on top of that. It just makes it so we can just bully Samshrew so much in this lane.
We do see them heading over towards the Fire Giant area. The wards are on the ground and getting ready to go. Oh, ultimate on Aurora. Looking for the kill. They get this as a Fire Giant for free. Single target went through, trying to put the shield wall on the ground. Not going to be enough. And there goes the kill. Ultimate comes up from Al Guang, but does nothing to Kiki. Now the fight goes on Sam Sure. It's a 1 versus 1 situation. Mage on top of the Hunter. Squall not going to land. No slow. The card will hit on Herwin. In the meantime, the right side looks like Snipe is able to take out the Freya pick. Yukini going down there. It's a 2-for-0 exchange in favor of Snipe. They have no Guardian. They have no legs to stand on, and this Fire Giant should be free unless we get a really good ultimate.
Yeah, and Allied closing the distance onto Jerby in terms of most damage dealt in the game. Cycle has been, well,
drive-by.
Yeah, a little drive-by. It was unstable Vortex going through, dropping in Continental from the sky. But there is no Guardian, as you mentioned, to try to contest that, really. Just a little bit of harass from Cyclospin, and now Cyclospin looking likely to fall here. He's going to dash through, but Weaken does have the angle. Doesn't matter because Jerby's going to snipe him out. Easy peasy.
Well, in the right lane, they're going to try and push this up. Here comes Ally from the flank looking for a shot on Herwin, slowing him down. No follow-up from the team, though, forcing the sprint on both players, though. That is a huge win for Snipe. Now those two actives are on cooldown, and they're forced to back off. They're out of mana, so just a small little flank from Allied forces Fat Chunks to head on home with cooldowns beneath their belt, and now they're just ready to kind of let this Phoenix be defended. But the question is, can they get there in time with enough personnel to stop the pain train that is Snipe?
And the Fire Giant buff is active. Raw heal down as well for them to fight an Incon in the front lines, not taking any damage. Actually, a big miss on that taunt by Aurora there. Now they won't have that AoE CC available. Snipe force out, however, after that Phoenix does go down. They're perfectly happy to run back Incon and look for him to leap back in, though. They definitely want to fight this, would be my expectation here. But no, they are going to fall back. Rare moments of patience from Snipe, but here comes the fight breaking out anyway. Kiki not finds a death on to Sam Shrew. The ultimate from the Alquang not good enough.
Oh.
Allied finds Herwin. Kiki with a double kill as well so far in this fight. Now it is just Cyclone's been a unique, alive, unique, not long for this world. It appears as he's going to recall to the base. And now going for that tier 2 in the mid lane, and likely the left lane as well, is Snipe. They can keep this push rolling for some time. 12,500 gold lead, 20,000 experience. This one is getting out of hand. Chunks having a hard time to get back into this one.
So at this point, they're pushing up towards the mid-Phoenix. Honestly, it's a little bit difficult for Fat Chunks to do anything. Looking for the kill on that Titan. Forcing on the mid-Phoenix is going to be falling shortly here. And with the heal from Ra, plus the additional regen from the Fire Giant buff, you know, they're not really taking any poke damage at all. I mean, you can see almost every single one, except for Continental, is at full HP. Kiki's tanking this tower very casually, as Weaken takes the movement speed buff, just because he wants to add insult to injury at this point and gain more golden experience for his team, and get a lot of movement speed and attack speed for his very, very much in-hand based character. Heading up towards the Gold Fury and taking out a very, very slow gain for them. And, you know, honestly, they had a chance at the Titan. They certainly had lethal, but at this point, they're just getting ready to just tighten it out and just close the game very, very carefully.
And now the Gold Fury will be taking a little bit more golden experience going their way. Nothing too exciting, but Weaken level 19 and Continental level 16. It will help Incon out some. He's sitting on, well, a robust 3,000 gold in hand. All these players now between 3,000 and 4,000 gold to their name. So watch that item bar on the right side just fill up with items as they head back. A Ratatouille bought outright by Kiki now. You have the Rage Blade into Short Sword for Allied. Well, there is a Kronos Pendant finish outright for Jerby, a Deathbringer finish for Weaken, and a Magi's Blessing on top of a Bulwark for Incontinentia.
Well, they're pushing forward here and getting ready to kind of end the game outright. The last matchup of the day for the Pro League start here. We've got a very big lead, 17,000 gold in favor of Snipe, 15-7. The kill count is rather low, but Snipe knows exactly what they want, and they're going straight for it. And it's on to Fat Chunks to see if they can scramble something out. I mean, they don't really have very many items. Herwind has just finished his Book of Thoth. And honestly, if I were Herwind and I was sitting on a Soul Reliquary at this point in the game, I would make it a Soul Reaver. I mean, you're not going to be stacking that book up. Yeah. You're looking on 2 Phoenixes dead. He's not going to get any use out of it, but he still goes for the book. I would have made it Soul Reaver.
Jerry loves him some big fancy numbers, I guess, because Book of Thoth will give you ultimately the more high, big, large numbers at one time. Soul Reaver may do more damage, but Book of Thoth gives you, you can watch your ultimates hit for 1,000 damage when you're raw, and if that's what makes you feel good, then so be it. Also, I mean, the item does give a tremendous amount of mana in MP5. Maybe he's looking more for that. And really, Book of Thoth this late in the game when you have a lot of mana stacked up from your Warlock stash does give you a lot of magical power. So ultimately, late game Book of Thoth is honestly better than early game Book of Thoth in terms of cost efficiency for gold. You just don't get as much power.
Now Nemesis' ultimate on the backside, looking for the follow-up, gonna find Yuki, forcing the ultimate out here. Yana's ultimate gonna come through and hit Incon, who backs off entirely. The Phoenix goes down, 3 Phoenixes down. Jerby gets the snipe on Unique, looking for the kill on Samshu. He's backing away. They've got nowhere to go. The knocking from Alway is gonna be enough. Can Snipe find their first victory in the SPL? It's looking like it's gonna be so. Samshu's gonna fall down. It's gonna be a 5 versus 2 here on top of the Titan. The lethality here is off the charts as they're gonna strike down and take this Titan out. Nothing left for Fat Chunks to do, and the victory goes to Snipe, as we see the Giannis butt jiggling in front of the screen.
Nothing like it there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will do it for our 4 games today. And the end of the last one here, Snipe able to take out the Chunks. And did so in a pretty snowbally fashion as we expected it might be.
They definitely did, and it's kind of the same issue that we saw. It seems like they've corrected it before. I mean, on the last side, realistically, we saw Snipe had trouble against Thirst because they couldn't win team fights. Now they've built a more team fight-oriented team, and they shut down every aspect that Chunks had here. So Snipe got their victory today, but that will close it out for the end of the Pro League today, guys. What do we got going on tomorrow?
Yeah, let's take a look at the games coming up tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll see them coming across the screen right now. Thank you very much, Denton. Starting at 11:30 a.m. tomorrow, coverage is going to start with the pregame show. Challengers Cup starting at 10 a.m. Eastern if you want to watch the amateur scene as well. Noon Eastern is our first games, Coast versus Cloud9, followed by TSM and Exposed Secrets. The North American games tomorrow starting at 2 p.m., Dignitas versus Snipe, and Cognitive Gaming versus the boys from Thirst.
It's going to be a big day starting tomorrow. Of course, that will conclude the end of the first week of the SPL going into tomorrow, and it'll be all the matches complete. And, you know, fantasy fans are going to have to reevaluate who they're going to pick up the day after. Of course, fantasy for the Smite Pro League opens up on Monday, and so you'll be able to start selling people, buying people, and moving around. The question is,
tell you, man,
how many COG-Red players will they get?
I think he hit 80% of his snipes that game. As a statistic that I just pulled out of my pocket here, I'm going to say it was 80.
It's pretty good.
So, you know what's going to be really funny is at the end of this league, when we go back and we look at, out of all of the raw players, who had the highest accuracy in snipes, I'm going to laugh if it's Jerby. Everything will be turned on its head at that point. But that's going to do it for us, guys. Do, as Dry Bear said, you have an opportunity to change your fantasy teams after the games on Sunday. Do so for the beginning of the next week. That's going to do it from us here in Atlanta. For the production staff, commentary staff, and all of you out there watching, plus the players, thank you for joining us today. And we will see you tomorrow with our continuing coverage of the Smite Pro League.